This is Charlie Agar with Charlie Bee Company, back in the bee business in 2022. Beautiful spring day, one of my first removals, gearing up with all my good stuff. Here I got all the tools of mass distraction, got my thermal camera going in and looking for that heat signature on the hive. These bees are right under this window. I decided to go after it from the inside, very easy to get to, gave them a little bit of smoke, let them know I'm coming, and then tore into this wall. Very easy to remove. This building had been sitting for quite a while, kind of falling apart. The client said, do whatever you need to get to the bees, which is always good news for a bee removal guy. Got in there, and boy, I got greeted by just a big old wall of honey, really heavy. For this time of year, it's mid-March in Texas. This is the end of the winter, and these bees are just full of resources. So I got in, got that honey out. Now, this isn't honey I'm ever going to sell or do anything with. I typically feed it back to the bees, but it's a good indication of the health of this hive. And now we're in the brood. This is where all the babies are, and then this hive is doing just great, better than a lot of my own hives. I carefully get in there, take that brood comb out. That's what I want. That's what I'm going to transplant into the new hives. And I vacuum up these bees. Now, these bees are the best because they're nurse bees, and they're going to take care of the brood. Here I find a little pocket of bees down in the dark. I'm just carefully taking this comb apart bit by bit. I'm looking for the queen. I'm not seeing her. I'm vacuuming clusters of bees from back in the dark. That's typically where I'm going to find her. It's a big job, a lot of work, very tiring. But I finally get everything all cleaned up, get all the bees and comb out that I can get, and I put a little honey bandit in there, which is something the bees don't really like, but it's not a pesticide. It just smells bad to them. It drives them to the outside. So here I'm vacuuming up some stragglers, and then I'm going to be able to get as many bees as I can before I head off. Boy, a lot of comb here into the bee mobile and out to the bee yard. Now, this is where I make it really hospitable for these bees. Thankfully, I had some comb left over fall, had a little bit of honey on it, drawn out comb. This will really attract these bees, make it feel really homey. I take these new frames out, pop the foundation out, and I'm going to use these frames to frame up some of the brood comb. That's the most choice bit that's really going to attract these bees to their new hive. One thing I try to do is a mix of capped brood and then uncapped. Here it's just open cells. It gives the queen a place to lay, and it smells just like home. Bees are very scent driven, so you got to give them that lure, that attractant. Here's a nice big frame of brood, capped brood. What I'm really interested in is the edge of that where there's open brood, and that gives off a pheromone, the brood pheromone, that really will attract these bees. It'll really tell them this is home. I used to use rubber bands. Now I really just wedge the comb in there real carefully. I find the bees attach it pretty quickly. If I can use these medium frames and just wedge that comb in, it works great. Now I'm going to add another box, get some more resources on there. This is where I'll have a nice feeder so the bees can get some sugar water, and then also some more drawn out comb. I'm going to move that over from the back of the bee mobile to the bee yard. Here I just put some political sign material underneath the hive. This is where I'll dump the bees. They need food, so I brought my sugar water. I use a 40-gallon sprayer with a pump in the bee mobile, and that way I can run a hose out and fill the bees. This always makes me have to go pee. Then I shake the bees into the front of the hive from the lid of the vacuum, and I'm looking for the queen. I'm watching that pattern. They're going right in. They're sort of streaming in. I'll dump a few on top, let them know that's a good spot too. Looking for that movement. They really start to get that pattern grooved. I'll encourage them to move into the hive just with a little shake, and I'll brush them around. These bees are not defensive. They're really confused. They've been through the ringer here. So now I'm going to do the big shake, get these bees out into the front of the hive. I'm looking for Big Mama. I haven't found her in the removal, so this is my chance to spot her. Dump, 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 and look for the queen. These bees got real flighty with this dump. They're flying all over. That's not unusual, but see how they're moving in, and then boom, I see her. There's the queen. I got all excited, grabbed the camera. I wanted to show y'all. So there she is. Hard to spot, but I was able to see her and then confirm that she went in. That's good news. Shake everything out and put the lid on, feed them up, and they'll hive up really nicely. If you need help with bees, give me a holler, charliebee.com.